There's one stock that is about to skyrocket, in my opinion. It is a Chinese stock. That is the theme today. Money's rotating out of the US safe haven as the S&P pulls back after 150 days above the 50-day moving average. Basically 150 days, almost half a year of just straight up. And half a year, that brings us back to the tariff bottoms, right? So at some point, is reality going to set in? I don't know. But the stock is XPEV, XPEV, and let's jump into the chart. So here it is. It's surfing these moving averages. Moving averages are getting tight here. Strong green day, and add relative strength to the market today, which looked like this. Okay, it went down. So XPEV is the play. Levels are probably this 21 level, all the way going back to this left side peak before Q2 earnings. And now that also hits a bunch of these little tops here, all the way back to March of this year. So that's the spot to risk off of. Risk $1, make 3, 4, 5, and then if we get above 27, there's a lot of space to the upside going all the way to, I guess the next level would be 35, or you could say 27. Yeah, is a very strong one. Maybe 30 whole dollar level would be the next one. So that's the play, and that's the reward risk. And we are having a change of character here. The channel's down, and then we start to move up. So I can just think of a big arrow here. I'm not going to draw on this chart because you can see my pencil, but that's what we're talking about. Now let's jump into, we'll talk about what this company does. They're an EV company. Zhuangzhou, is that how you pronounce that? Roughly. Certainly heard of Wuhan. But look, they are constructing flying car manufacturing facility. This is an EV company, but they're also merging into the vertical takeoff aircraft, which the vernacular is flying car. So yeah, we're getting flying cars. 10,000 units is maybe not a lot for China, but Volkswagen has a 5% stake. There's 700 million in that particular, I guess in the whole thing. Yeah, XPeng Inc. Volkswagen has a 5% stake. So, that means this company could sell in the US at some point. Don't quote me on that, but they did acquire DD smart car development for 800 million and started to manufacture in Europe. Southeast Asian markets, I believe the EV demand is probably like 95% in China right now. Maybe Europe will be the next biggest market. 100% of vehicles in Q2. That seems similar to Tesla, was maybe 140,000. And then Xiaomi was maybe 150,000. Something like that. This is all in the ballpark. They're competitors and they're close. They're in the same conversation as Tesla for sure. And the amount of money traded is not really indicative of that at all. 20 million times $20 is $400 million traded per day. So Tesla is not even close to that. I mean, Tesla just today traded 50 million times 2 billion shares, $2 billion on 50 million shares. So we are not the same. But Tesla, you could say, is overbought. Could it go to 500? Trump and Elon are making amends. They're hanging out again. So that could move. But at the same time, we are pretty extended. This was a monumental breakout. Everyone and their mother probably is wondering now, where are we going to go from here? And this was a euphoric election run. And if we could have a little bit more of a coming together, that could happen again. And the only reason this Trump-Elon theory seems to be, conversationally useful at all is that actually, when they fell out, Tesla did fall as well. So it's a real thing. Now, we're not talking about Tesla. We're talking about XPEV as a safer place to put money right now. Only moves 4% a day. So if you do get a fall, I don't think there's going to be any crazy blowback here. You mean, never say never. Hims. You can see I got caught in Hims. I've lost, that's 15%. I woke up at 7 a.m. luckily, so I was seeing my position evaporate in front of me, and then I shorted some and then covered a little bit to make a tiny bit back. But in general, that's a biotech phenomenon that happens when trial results come out, or the bigger company Novo said, hey, Hims, we don't like the way that they're marketing our drug. So that was in June of this year, and then this was June. Novo, went down a little bit, but this was this was a separate situation, but now we're getting way off track. XPEV is poised to go up, in my opinion. Those are the spots. We talked a little bit about what they do. We don't have to jump in too much, except to say that this is a factor. They're in part of the CCB, under the stewardship. So if they decide to say, hey, XPEV, you gotta sell less cars, then, they gotta do that. So recent news, we talked about vehicle deliveries. This is just in 1 month, so about 3 times this would be a quarter, which checks out. And then that checks out too for 8 months, about 300,000. So yeah, bit of a loss, 50 million USD, but it's improvement year over year, and revenue doubled year over year. So revenue growth is solid, and delivery is increasing as well. So things look good. They have some product updates that seem, on par with competitors. They certainly are on par in terms of, vertical takeoff aircraft. I don't think Tesla's launching that anytime soon, although that might be because Tesla is focused on, 9 other things, including humanoids. That's actually a lot, 50,000 steering assist failures. That sounds pretty serious, but looks like just sort of a sensor warning light situation, not an actual dangerous thing. And then Volkswagen name is big, and they're hiring a little, 6,000 is not nothing. Amazon alone has 10,000 H1Bs. So, it is what it is. So that's a little bit about the company. That's a little bit about the chart. And we can talk all we want about how the chart looks great or the company has this number and this number, but really all we're doing is saying money is flowing out of the U.S. companies right now the last few days and flowing into China companies. And XPEV is an example of that move. And, we just talked about NIO, and there's a whole slew of China companies that are holding up pretty well. Tiger's actually, it's bouncing off this moving average, so did have a pretty rough go a couple days ago. But if we could just look at China sector as a whole, which we do with the NETF, yeah, this thing looks like it's holding up well. That's the company, XPEV. If you like these stock ideas, hit that subscribe button. You can curate, pick the ones. Hopefully the titles are somewhat revealing and the thumbnails are not completely blinding, and you can navigate your way into some utility here. If you want a more intimate live stream, and group chat, head over to stockscommunity.com. Join for $25 for 7 days. I'm actually going to be starting that course member live stream in just 2 minutes, now 1 minute, as of the time of recording this video, and I will see you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam.
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 This is Sam Putnam.